All right then. Good morning, daughter. Good morning, granddaughter.
Hey, mom. Hey, kiddo.
How's everybody? How's everybody?
Pretty good. Doing
Very
good.
good. How about you, granddaughter?
Yeah, I'm doing
How
pretty
those
good. How are you?
classes coming? How those classes coming?
Oh, they're doing okay. Yeah, I just finished a really busy week with like
Oh, girl, you
midterms and assignments and papers and stuff.
all
So
right. Well, you a senior. You a senior. It gets a little harder, I guess. Well, anyway, today's topic is the use of certain words like coon, Uncle Tom, the N word with the ER, and the N word with the GA.
Mm.
So, and I just wanted to, I just wanted to talk on that because sometimes when I hear those words, it one in particular that's really just does my energy just so badly. And so, well, maybe two, but now that I think about it, but I just wanted us to talk about it because, like I said, the energy we know words have energy, and words are thoughts and then energy and stuff like that. And a lot of times when we use those words, they do hurt the person that we call them to if they hear them sometimes. But most of the time, because of the energy, it hurts us. Saying this, it can hurt us mentally, and I believe it can hurt us in the way that we actually feel by continuing to use that energy over and over again. And I know neither one of us use it often, but there are have been occasions in the last 3 years to use them on a regular basis, whether we choose it or not. But still, I just want to be us to be aware that when we use those words, it's probably not so much hurting the other person, especially if they're not around, but how it affects us mentally. And one of those words that I really dislike is coon. And the coon, as you might know, it comes from a caricature of the black person looking like a raccoon.
Mm.
And so that's one of the things. Of course, there's another meaning behind how we use it. We use it in a way that also means like somebody is cooning up or kissing butt to a Caucasian person.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think about those words? And another word is we use of Uncle Sam. I don't know if either of you ever, not Uncle Sam, not
I
Uncle
was like,
Sam,
who
the man
Uncle
that gets
Sam?
the money,
The tax man?
not Uncle Sam, but we got a couple of
I
Uncle
don't like
Sams.
him either, though.
Not Uncle Sam, my bad, not Uncle Sam. I don't know what I was thinking about Uncle Sam.
You ready for tax season?
I'm ready for tax season so I get my refund. But another one we use, and now I forgot what the other one is.
Uncle Tom.
Uncle Tom, but they
Mm-hmm.
cousins, Tom and Sam,
Right.
they cousins, twice removed. Uh, Uncle Tom, and I don't know if either of you have seen the movie Uncle Tom. Have you?
There's a movie, Uncle Tom.
Yeah,
I
there's a
haven't
movie
seen
Uncle
it.
Tom's Cabin.
Oh, the
Movie,
book.
the book,
I
and
I
there's a
have not. I heard about the. I'm familiar with the book. Can you move your camera down some, Mom? All I really see is the lion. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay.
Um, I'm familiar with the book. I have not read the book, but I think because it's been talked about a lot, that maybe I pieced some things together and kind of know what it's about or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think Uncle Tom, and I didn't know this until recent years, that when people say that, you're actually using it in the wrong way, because
Exactly. Exactly.
that character, Uncle Tom, who was, the main character in the book, Uncle Tom's Cabin, actually was not a sellout. He ended up, plot twist, he died, hate to ruin that, ruin the end for you, but he died. But he
Come on
would
in.
not, he would not sell out. Is it our guest star about to come in?
Let's start about to come in.
I
Oh,
can't, he always
let's
makes his cameo.
yeah.
On this time.
Yep, at the same time all the time. Hey, see me. So, oh, not Siri. Did you hear my phone? I didn't say her. Keep on talking. So, Uncle Tom in the book actually would not sell out until these slave owners or slave traders where these couple of runaway slaves were.
Mhm.
So that's not a sellout. Like he ended up dying,
Right.
behind that stuff. But so I don't know why it kind of, I think just because he was a slave, and when people think of somebody who is selling out or something like that, or not necessarily selling out, people who are like putting like Caucasians on a pedestal, or they believe what they were, what Black people were told about themselves back in the day. They
Mhm.
may believe that about us. So then they like, you, Uncle Tom, like you feel like, they are better than us or something. So
Right.
they're
Right.
like saying, kind of sell out, but that's not used in the proper way.
Right. How about you, granddaughter? Have you read the book or seen the movie?
No, I haven't read the book or seen the movie, but I am interested in reading the book because it's a
Yeah,
classic and it comes up a
it
lot
is a classic.
in my
It
in
is
a
a
lot of my
classic.
classes. It's referenced. What was that?
You said it was a classic or in your classes.
Yeah, it's a classic and
Yeah.
it's referenced a lot in my classes.
Mm.
But yeah, for me personally, I have no problem or issue calling somebody a coon. If I think they're a coon, they're a coon. And I would call them that. But it's not that I would necessarily call anybody a coon to their face, because I probably wouldn't even engage in conversation with somebody like that.
Mm.
It's just more so like I see somebody on social media and I'm just like, coon, keep scrolling. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, I don't even, I'm not even going to engage with that, whatever they have. Like there's this really popular gay Black man. And he's like a huge
Oh, you
advocate
showed
for
me.
Trump. Yeah, I showed my mom, and I honestly just find him fascinating because I feel like he's putting on a character. And I don't feel like the way that he talks, it's just like, there's no way he's serious, just the way that he talks. And I'm just like, I feel like he is playing up the role of being a coon for like clout or popularity or something like that. I don't know.
So
Um,
your definition just then was different. It differed from what I was thinking that people was, cause I don't recall ever calling anybody a coon, but but when I hear somebody say it, the definition seems to be different than what yours was, and yours is the closest to what the actual definition is. That's actually, you can look it up. It's not so much that somebody is kissing up to white people, but it's a abbreviation for raccoon, and it's a portrait of a lazy, easily frightened, chronically idle, inarticulate buffoon. Somebody that's lazy and that's an adult, but they're childish and they act all silly and stuff like that. So your definition just then in describing this person is closer to the actual definition than what I hear some people when I hear them call
I
people.
think kind of like the way that Black people have reclaimed the word nigga and reclaimed like certain words. I think that's kind of the same that's being done with coon. I
Okay.
think coon has also been a word that's been reclaimed um, by, I guess, more woke Black people to associate with like non-woke Black people who are not even just
Mm.
non-woke Black people, but Black people who like actively go against their best interests and the interest of the Black community.
Right. Okay.
So I know that I've said somebody is cooning. Are they around here cooning or whatever? This old cooning fool. I don't know that I've actually said coon, and I didn't know that that was the definition. And I didn't know that it was like this picture of a Black person who like painted like a raccoon or whatever. I didn't know that, but I do know that there's a history of it. Like if a white person called me coon, I'm a hear N-word with an ER,
Mhm.
I'm just here nigger. That's what I'm gonna hear. Not like, so that might be interchangeable to them, but I think I've used the word coonin, and I think I've used it when it's like, for example, those Black people who like when Kamala Harris was named, running mate, and then they just start attacking her like, oh, she did this in California when she was the state's attorney general and she ain't did nothing for blah, blah, blah. Or the same people who talked about Obama and they're Black. I'm like, you over here cooning because you believed what people said in the past about Black people, like that's some internalized hatred that you would publicly say something about a negative about another Black person. Like, I don't think I would say that about like, well, except for that Candace chick. I'm gonna say she's cooning. Like that's cooning to me, right? Am I using that wrong?
Who's Candace Owens.
Uh-huh. Well, you're using it wrong from the original definition, but not for the definition that Kennedy just said. If we what word you
I
use?
claimed that. Like
Reclaimed it. Yeah, reclaimed it. Because I'm thinking that when people are stating facts about someone, I'm not talking about Candace because I don't know how much facts she be stating, but people are stating facts about maybe what Madam Vice President elect has did when she was in Oakland. If they're stating fact, then they're just stating fact. But I mean, but if they are, well, that's me. That's my definition. But if they are repeating what they hear, say for example, white people say to attack her, then and they're clinging on to that, and a lot of it is untrue, then that's where I could see what you're saying.
Okay, so I think I can understand, like, if they're stating facts, these are the things that she did. It put a lot of people, majority Black people, in jail or in prison or whatever. Like she didn't, that law or that enforcement didn't only put Black people in jail or in prison, you know. So I look at it from a perspective of like now you're trying to like denigrate this Black woman's history and like the power and authority that she had. Like, where were you? She's been a senator. Were you talking about her then when she was a senator or not until she has this, you know what I mean? So it's like, don't go knocking this woman down. This is like an opportunity that is not all the time. So why are you gonna, we already have enough of that from white people and, you know, the MAGA maggots and stuff. We don't need Black people doing that too. You know, it's almost like when you talk about like OJ Simpson at home, you know, OJ did it. I said it. We know he did it.
I do too. I agree.
OJ did it. Yeah. He did it. He got away with it. He got away with it. And I think from Black people's perspective, I mean, that I just say that to say like, you don't necessarily talk about that like amongst white people and just all out and open. And you kind of, you almost kiki about it, not because of the act, but you like, yeah, OJ did it. Like, we know he did it. He got away with it. We are more like, I think, because no Black people get away with stuff. So that's more to where it's like, oh snap, he got away. That's why people were cheering. Nobody's cheering because this man killed a woman. No. Nobody's cheering because of that. Nobody's cheering. You know, it was, you know, Cochran getting him off, and if the glove don't fit, you must have quit and all that stuff. But like when it comes to just like negatively talking about a good person, I guess, in the Black community, don't do that. Like, don't do that. Yeah. We have that enough, and you don't need to add to a Black person.
I agree with you on that, because my thing is, once you do something, and probably your intention was good, now if your intention was bad when you did it, that's a different thing. But if your intention was good and you thought you were really doing something for the greater good, and then later on you've learned, you know, I shouldn't have done that, and that didn't work out the way I expected it to, then, and now you're in a position where you can really make amends or make corrections or, you know, do good, then I agree with you on that. Now, what about the word, the N word with the ER, the N word with the GG? The N word with GG, I know we've reclaimed that and we use it. How do you feel about that? Gen Z? How does Gen Z feel? Gen Z.
Let me ask you this. You said we reclaimed it.
She said isn't that the term you use?
Yeah, but no, you said GGA, we reclaimed that. Like, they weren't calling us GGA.
That's true.
They're calling us ER, which,
that's true.
Okay.
What do you call that? What we do? We repurpose it?
Yeah, well, we repurpose and change a little, huh?
Yeah, I thought they called us GGA too. I thought it was both.
I mean, you're probably right from a Southern slang, a Southern dialect.
Okay.
That's, yeah, from a Southern dialect, that's probably what you hear, like you watch movies and stuff like that. You hear it. They mean ER.
Oh, okay, I got you. So Gen Z, tell us a little bit about how the Gen Zs feel about that, because I would think that it's probably not your generation, but maybe the generation before you started that, right?
Yeah, probably millennials that started it. Yeah,
Started it, yeah.
maybe I don't know. Maybe even a little bit of Gen X, a little bit, because I think of
I
like
think
Tupac
yeah,
and
Gen X,
Biggie and like
Mhm.
all those rappers that were coming
yeah,
up
the
and things like
rappers and
that.
stuff like that. Hmm.
But for me personally, yeah, I say nigga. I say it
You
when I'm with
do?
my friends. Yeah, I do. I don't say it around I
Kennedy.
only say it when I'm around Black people. It's not something that I feel comfortable saying around non-Black people. So it's
Like
just
OJ
something
did
that
it. Like
I
that?
mean, I'm just talking about GGA though. I'm not talking about like I mean, that's enough. Like for me, if we're going back to the whole like not wanting to kind of um like bad mouth, for going back to like not wanting to badmouth like well-known Black politicians and celebrities and things like that, like even I, as the most probably the most progressive of us three on here, the furthest to the left, even I wouldn't badmouth Kamala Harris. Even like, yeah, I think we should hold her and Joe Biden accountable, but even I am not going to be the one to be like Kamala Harris is a coon. Like, come on, let's just be realistic here. People are not being realistic. Like, come on, she's offered the chance of the vice president. She's gonna be like, no, thank you. Anyway,
Exactly.
um, but yeah, GGA. That's a word that it's not. I don't even use it a lot, but I use it sometimes, like with my friends, and we would definitely hop on somebody's neck if a non-Black person said it. But
Mhm.
yeah, that's something we say within our friend group.
I didn't
Oh,
know that. Like, that's not something that I grew up saying. I don't use the word. I don't like either of the words. I don't like GGA. Um, quite frankly, it makes me uncomfortable when I hear it. Um, but I get it. I get that people have reclaimed it, as you were saying, to take the impact away from the ER word, or take the impact away. Like if you own it, like if somebody called you, big head or whatever, you're, like a bully or whatever, or keep calling you big head and stuff like that, then you know how you're like, well, if I laugh at that, there's no impact. So they're not getting the reaction they want. So they're going to probably stop calling me a big head. So the same with the N word, I think, oh, you're not laughing at it, but it's like, well, we're going to use it. We're going to use it. We're not going to use ER, but we're going to use it. That takes away the impact, and it's our word.
hmm.
But then you better not say the word. You don't have the right to say it because of the history and the hurt and the harm behind it, and the power that was used back in the day for that. When you hear that word, I think people hear the slap of a whip on somebody's back. I think that's what you hear when somebody says ER, or a white person even says GGA, whether they're rapping or whatever. They're still like, no, 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 no. That's no, no, too close or whatever. I don't say either of those words. I don't recall being like, Malcolm got in trouble once for texting it. His friends were texting it or something, and he texted something back, and I was like, "You use that word?" I didn't know that he used that word or whatever. I was actually blown away. I'm actually surprised that you used the word, Kennedy, and quite frankly, I think you should not use the word anymore. But um, yeah, I don't like it. I don't like the use of it. I get it in an artistic manner, like rapping and stuff like that. But if you're gonna use it and then be like a lot of the supporters of certain rap music, like white people, buying it and stuff too. So you accept the royalties from their money. They better not say the N word though. You know what I mean? So you got, from a creative, artistic perspective, I kind of get it. But let's take like a Kendrick Lamar, or somebody like yeah, like that's a good one, a Pulitzer Prize winner, um Kendrick. If he takes the N word out of all of his music, then it's still the same, so you don't have to use that word. I think
But I feel like
make it more aligned.
it lacks though without it. It lacks
I
the
don't know.
It does to me. It's like his music is, it just is so like, I don't know. I'm definitely not like a Kendrick connoisseur or whatever. Like I don't know a whole bunch. I don't know his discography like the back of my hand.
Mhm.
But some of his music is really about the plight of Black people. And I feel like through the plight of Black people, we have experienced the progression of this word of GGA and GGER. And I feel like the way in which he uses it, it's almost kind of powerful, in my opinion. It's almost kind of empowering the ways that he uses it. Like we've been saying, he's reclaiming the word, he's taking back the meaning in the way in which he uses it in his songs. I'm just kind of like, it just kind of gets you hyped up. It just kind of, yeah, this is for me. This music is for me. This music is for Black people, you know, whereas it just wouldn't have the same impact. I mean, not saying it would be good, but I'm just saying it wouldn't have
Yeah.
the same effect.
That's why I said I kind of understand it from a, creative, artistic perspective to a certain degree, but I still don't like the word. It makes me uncomfortable. Like if I was walking into the store and I saw a group of teenagers, and this has happened before, and you hear, you nigga this, nigga, all this stuff. I'm just like, oh my God, like I'm blown away by it because it doesn't sound good. The word doesn't sound good. And the root of where it came from doesn't sound good. And they're like 14 years old, and just loud about it and stuff. They're calling one another this, not necessarily like, you dumb they're not saying you dumb nigga. They're just saying, like bruh, like people say bruh, like replace it with bruh. Just be like bruh, or whatever. I don't know. But then you'd be like, did that white person just call you bruh? And everybody, you just be mad about everything, right?
Yeah, so we've come to the conclusion that um, most of the time people are using Uncle Tom, not Sam, his cousin, but Uncle Tom in the wrong context. And they're in Coon, it just has such energy to me. I guess I'm like Uncle Coon, like you feel about the N word. That word, when I hear somebody say it, it just calls my insides to kind of quiver a little bit. It's just,
Do you have experience with it at all? Come from,
uh,
the boomer generation?
I not personally, but you hear stories about it on a
Mhm.
regular basis, but not no one calling me that from Oklahoma. But you've heard people stories of it, people being called that, and then when you think about the characters and which are blacker than black, that's like when something that really used to bother me when I was growing up is when people called you black as tar.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew that was coming.
You black as tar, but that didn't come from the white people. That came from your own, from your community, especially if they were people of lighter complexion.
I think that's gonna
That
get
was
into
that
our,
was a negative. That was a negative situation, but
yeah.
a negative thing, and that really hurt. Really, really hurt.
I think that's a whole nother topic,
That's a whole
colorism.
nother topic.
Yeah.
Things that are said to you within your own community. But anyway, so Uncle Tom, we know a lot of people are using it in the wrong context. Coon is, you have to just rethink that word again. And
What if I said Kunin?
well,
Same?
I guess cooning might be a little better than calling somebody a coon, but yeah, cooning, they just cooning. But are they really cooning? Are they really cooning?
Oh, it makes me think of somebody just like
Yeah. Oh,
tap
okay.
dancing along and putting on a show for the white man and
Oh,
doing
uh,
all this stuff. Did I
so
do it right? How'd trying to
yeah, I
entertain
understand.
somebody?
So in that
Yeah,
context, yes, you have
you
the right
couldn't.
meaning. Yes. And then the words with the ER and the GA. I understand you completely, Kennedy. Your generation, maybe a generation before you, reclaimed that word, repurposed it, and now it's between one another, with a playful, almost endearing term. But it depends on who's saying it.
Right.
So that it depends on who's saying it, because we know the meaning behind it is much different.
Yep.
So
Can I
yeah.
ask this? I know you're wrapping up,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to ask, like, for two things. I noticed you don't even say it. You say N word with GGA, and then you say N word with an ER. Like you don't even feel comfortable saying nigga or nigger in this conversation. Is that what's going on?
Um, Pretty much.
Yeah. So
Pretty
you
much.
don't like the use of either of those? Or?
I don't think it's an uncomfortable thing. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
I do, but I am, for lack of another word, if there's a word less than okay, I am.
That word.
I can't work with the GPA. I can't work with that because I know that it's been repurposed. It doesn't have the same meaning,
Mm-hmm.
and I know who's saying it.
Yep.
You know, and it's not detrimental when they say
Yes.
it to another. That's the only reason I'm.
Yes. And then I wanted to ask you this because I think that I might have a really different opinion of this, but I'm not 100% certain. What is the reaction for you if someone were to call you nigger, white person, a non-black person?
Oh, okay.
So, no, let's just say a white person because you don't. Yeah, just for ease of discussion. If somebody were to call you a nigger, and what would you teach your child if someone called them nigger? What would you tell them to do?
Well, nowadays, if someone called me that, then my reaction would probably be much different now than it would have been some time ago.
Okay, pray tell.
Now I would, some time ago, it would be a scuffle and right there immediately after the period, the word. It'd have been a scuffle right there. Now it would be a you uneducated, whatever you are, you know, it would be not a discussion, but it would be a statement made that would have let them see how ignorant and out of touch and racist that they are and what their mama taught them and all that kind of stuff.
Like a read.
Yeah, it would be a read, a snap, 2 snaps and a read. With an exclamation at the end of it.
Just snap like that.
And a lock slinging, turn head, step off.
You gonna hit him with your locks as you walk away.
As I walk away. And probably pat my pretty booty. And then, and then that's probably what it would be now. And then to tell the grandchildren, say I see him if he was with me or the grandbabies was with me, then they are woke. They understand. So, you know, it's not a lot. I would just look at them and I say, you tell them about how ignorant the person is and how, you know, maybe you don't let that bother you because that's showing their ignorance.
I want to know, same question for Kennedy.
Okay, Kennedy.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, new generation here.
Jonathan got called the N-word when he was writing Bart one time, and he tried to fight the guy.
He tried to fight him?
He tried to fight him, but the guy ran away after he But for me personally, Jonathan and I have had this discussion, and I'm honestly just pettier than that. I'm not going to give them the satisfaction of knowing that they upset me. Mm-hmm. I would just laugh, and I would probably call them a nigger back. I would just, you're a nigger.
Confuse the hell out of them, huh?
Yes.
Have them going to trying to
exactly. And then I would just go on about my day.
Excuse me, thank you. Yeah.
What about
oh my gosh.
What about you, daughter?
Yeah, I feel you on that one, Bug, because if we're reclaiming the word, then why are we getting so angry and ready to fight when somebody says it? Like that's the part. If you're gonna reclaim it all the way, own it, and say that it's ours or what. Like I don't really want to reclaim the word because that's a negative word. I don't want to own that word. Like y'all gave us that word, so I'm not taking that and then gonna call my people the word that you called us. Mm-hmm. And then say we're from a, it's just coming from a different place. I know that it's coming from a different place, but I'm not taking a word that you made up about us. That's like believing that mess that you taught slaves that they were less than and stupid and dumb and whatever all those negative things are. So
reclaiming and redefining.
Okay, and I guess like you called it, what'd you say before that? Not a restructure or reclaim. You said repurposing. Yeah. Oh no, so that's not repurposing. That's just like I'm gonna take it from you and use it here. It kind of repurpose, but I guess with a different meaning. We'll take something out of it and do it.
Right.
So with that being said, I don't feel like I would just be like, I would straight up clutch the pearls and be like, oh, and I'd grab my purse and stuff. I'd act like they would act if it was some black folks in an elevator. I'd just grab my purse and be like, oh my, I would look all around. They would just be floored, you know, like just turn the whole thing around and be, oh my God, and pointing and him, you know, like I wouldn't be trying to, officer him. I wouldn't be trying to like fight them. And then I was talking to Malcolm about, I was asking if anybody had ever called him the N-word or what would he do and all this stuff. And he said, no, nobody had ever called him that. No one's ever called me that I'm aware of, you know, to my face or anything. And that would be the reaction. But I did tell Malcolm, I said, that's not something where you automatically be trying to fight, because you see these videos where people be like, well, you know, you're a nigger, or you know, whatever they say, and you catch it on video and somebody get beat down, like, and they were like, now who's, you know, like you get pulverized for it. Like,
It's
I'm
like
not gonna,
he's knocked out.
yeah, like I'm not doing all that stuff. And so I told Malcolm the same too, like, because when it's all said and done, you beating them down. They got words, but you can fight, and you beat them up. Who you think's gonna be in more trouble?
Right.
And you black. Who you think gonna be in more trouble? So give that some thought. Now, if y'all walking behind somewhere and they see it, no, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna say that, but like if y'all, like if ain't no witnesses, then no, I just don't think that's, I don't think you gotta pop off if somebody said that. I just really don't. I don't think so.
What if I just
I know a lot of black people feel like I'm beating ass. Somebody say that. Well, on, kiddo.
I said, what if I just tase him?
Okay, and walk away. Good day.
That's
Or
fine.
mace him like that lady did in the store.
Like the lady did in the convenience store.
And then she told the worker at the store, she was like, you have a good day. I walked out like nothing happened.
Walked out singing, signed it, sealed, delivered.
She
Yours.
did. This is a good topic.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that was good.
Very
I enjoyed that.
I enjoyed that. So if you have a chance, watch Uncle Tom's Cabin. His cousin Sam might show up in it. But so
I will watch. Who's in it, Mom? Who's starting it?
that was so long ago.
Oh, it's an old one.
None of them are probably living.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'm
Is it black and white?
Yeah, I think so, unless they recolorize it. None of I'm surprised your class hadn't done it, Kennedy, since they do so many good movies in your class.
They showed a movie with blackface, so I'm not.
I remember that.
My expectations are pretty low.
Oh,
I mean, was it to analyze that?
No.
Like you can. That's right. You told me about that. No.
It was not to analyze the racism of the film at all. It was actually to talk about